Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Going For It Sim Studio. When I started this challenge at the end of last winter to attempt to break 80 for my very first ever round outside by only learning on a golf simulator, I actually had a few objectives that I was looking to accomplish. It wasn't just that technology is here and that you can learn in a way where you're in the comfort of your own home in a non-traditional aspect rather than going to the golf course and having to commit a lot of time and money. Although yes, simulators do cost money, but that I was able to take myself, a normal dude, learn the game through practice that's gonna get me the scores that I'm after and allow me to elevate the enjoyment I'm gonna have when I am outside playing golf. Now, I do think I could have broken 80 by now if I would have split the practice and commitment that I've put indoors with some green grass golf. However, I wanted to build a challenge around it, make it fun, only do the learning inside and see where it can get me when I hit that year. Yes, I'm gonna be a couple weeks over my year mark because of snow, and that's just unforeseen circumstances that I've got no control over. But I think that's gonna be okay. You know, and a big part of what I wanted to do is share my experience. What is it like practicing all the time? Where I come from in cycling, anybody can ride a bike, right? From point A to point B. However, if you want to be a good cyclist, if you want to hit some mountain bike trails and actually have control over what you're doing, you have to practice. You have to put the time in. When people come to me and they say, Jeremy, how do I get better at riding bikes? We'll talk mountain bikes specifically here. I always tell them, see the knobs on those tires? Wear them out. Go through as many tires in a season as you possibly can. And I always get confused looks because I think they expect that magic pill. What part can I buy? What bike do I buy? What trail do I ride that's gonna immediately get me to be the rider that I'm after? Golf is a sport and a game that I think is severely lacking in just the practice to get better, the time and the effort put in to get you where you wanna go. Even just as an outsider looking in before I started playing the game of golf, you know, it's always the funny the memes and the folks that everybody knows complaining about their slice or how they've improved over the summer and then through winter they go backwards, or all the funny businesses out there that kind of poke fun at always being bad at golf. I want to change that. I want to show that you can utilize technology mixed with green grass golf and change the way that golf is learned and practiced. I think golf is a game that's played by millions but practiced by thousands. So taking the ease of that, I'm not saying go spend $50,000 on a simulator. You don't have to do that. If that's what you want, that's great. And you're gonna get the best of the best data and you're gonna have a studio that looks like this. Call About Golf, they'll take good care of you. But if you wanna do something for a lot smaller of a budget, something that just gets you the ability to practice, more of a DIY type setup, give Carl's Place a call. You're gonna get just as well taken care of. Technology in golf has really come to life in the last few years, and it's only gonna get better. It's gonna make the game more accessible, which is something that I wanna show. It's gonna make the game more fun, which is something that I wanna show you that as a normal person with a full-time job and a family can make work in their schedule. I can play a lot of golf and I'll be able to go outside and enjoy my rounds a lot more. So I want to share my experience of what it has been like to play golf almost daily for just about a year. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit about the ugly. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun here and talk about experience. I think you're gonna learn quite a bit about what you get out of actually practicing the game of golf. And just to clear up a few little things here, I totally understand that not everybody has access to some way to practice golf, especially green grass golf. And that's where simulator technology comes in. And, you know, and even if you don't have a huge budget or even a small budget to get any sort of simulator technology, you're gonna get a lot of benefit out of simply hitting into a net if you know what you're doing and you have a purpose. If you're just out there hitting balls into a net, you're gonna get bored and it's gonna do absolutely nothing to you. You know, and I don't know how the aura around golf has become just go play rounds and you're gonna get better. Because I mean, yeah, you will, but it's costly. You're gonna have good days and bad days and there's gonna be a lot of stuff you don't understand and you're so focused on playing the round that you're actually not practicing. And then you can't separate practice versus playing. And I also understand that a lot of us are not chasing a specific score, and that's absolutely not what the intention of this is. There's two ways to look at golf. You've got the player that wants to be really good, and you've got the player that just wants to have a great time being outside in the fresh air on a gorgeous golf course and traveling around and being able to play the game. And that's awesome. Hanging out with friends, having a good time. That's what we do. This is recreation for the vast majority of us. But practicing what your hobbies are gonna make you enjoy the game a heck of a lot more. And if you're chasing the score, you've got no choice but to practice, right? So what has playing golf almost every day, putting a lot of effort into practice done for me? What is my experience? And the first thing I'm gonna talk about is just being a smart golfer. And what I mean by that is because of the technology in a simulator, I know my yardages, I know my club speeds, I know my ball speeds, and I know my shot shapes really, really well. So therefore, when I get out to a golf course, I'm gonna be able to look at a shot and know exactly what club I should hit, when I should go a club long or a club short. I know what shot shapes I can make. I can't fool myself because I see my shot shape every single time I hit a shot when I'm on the sim. So if I have a position on a golf course where I need to get around a tree or around a hazard and it's a draw, a big draw, I know there's no chance I'm gonna do that because I know I've only done that once or twice in 200 shots because I just cannot hit those shots. I fade a lot. So therefore, what it does is it makes your course management stellar. You get really good. So now you're enjoying the game because you look at a shot and you're not guessing. And that's a big, big deal, right? You know, now, yes, in a simulator, a lot of the times you're not gonna get the negative effects you're gonna get with a lot of the roughs and some of the lies. Because yeah, I'm playing off a mat, I understand that. But if you also understand that when you're on a simulator, you're gonna be able to learn course management really, really well. You're also gonna be able to test your skills. The times you wanna go for those shots, the tiger shots I call them. Or should you lay up? Or what happens if you don't? You know, can you do that? And what are the probabilities? Where are your misses? You're gonna understand that so well that when you get outside, you're gonna feel like a pro because you're gonna be able to look at the yardage book, look at what you're doing and be like, yep, this is the club I need. You move on. And then what happens? Your pace of play goes up, right? So not only are you having a lot more fun because you're confident, but your pace of play is on par. You're not holding anybody up. And that helps the game of golf excel. It's awesome, right? The next thing is just the comfort over the ball. I remember when I first started, and this is really gonna kind of relate to a lot of the new people out there. I remember when I would stand over the ball, I used to tell my coaches, as soon as I start moving that club backwards, I have no idea what's happening. I don't know what's going on all the way down through impact. I'm guessing. I remember feeling so uncomfortable. And I didn't know if that was something that was just gonna be like that for the rest of the time I played golf, but that's not the case anymore. I'm incredibly comfortable when I stand at address. I know what I need to adjust. I know if I need to adjust something. And if I'm out having a bad day, I usually can tell pretty quickly what I'm doing wrong because I've been able to practice so much that the repetitions have gotten my brain to be able to feel what the club is doing all the way through my backswing, through impact. Even though it doesn't always do what I want, at least I can tell myself I know what it's doing. So the comfort that you get, in my opinion, is gonna make it really nice when I go out onto the course and be able to start hitting shots. Now, yes, for me specifically, I'm not gonna know what it's like to hit a ball below my feet with weird lies, above my feet, out of the sand. All that is gonna be experience that I have to learn, that you'll also have to gather being out on the golf course. So I'll be a bit behind, but I know that the comfort's gonna come pretty quick in the sense that I understand that my swing mechanics are there and I can trust it. So that's a really great advantage that I have gotten out of playing every single day. The random times that I have taken, I think 4 days off is probably the most I've taken. I feel like I took a year off. It's crazy. And I did that once and I swore I would never do it again so that I could keep all of that skill that I've built and the feel and the comfort right there in my hands. The other thing is comfort with equipment. I see all the time people buying, selling, falling for a lot of marketing and trying to buy the best, newest, tour proven everything. But there's a level to that where you kind of got to back up and just play with what you got. And a lot of the reason behind that is you want to be comfortable with what you're hitting. If you're constantly changing your equipment, how will you ever get comfortable with what you hit? A big one for me is putters. I talk to guys who have 15 or 20 putters and it's like, oh, just some days I just pick different putters. And I think that's great. It makes sense a little bit. But to me, I want to be confident in what I'm using, whether I'm stroking the ball well or not, but I know exactly how that particular putter is going to react. I did pick up a nice high-end putter. I don't even use it because the discomfort that I get with it is just not appealing to me. And until I start going outside and playing outdoors on different types of greens, I'm going to stick with my sticks because I know it. And when I'm putting on the sim, I know exactly what I'm going to get as far as the results go. And I think that goes with absolutely all of the clubs that you have. When I was racing motocross, that was a big deal that people would talk about is people always wanted to buy new bikes every single year. They would switch brands, but the geometry and the frames and the way the bikes rode were so different that you couldn't actually get good enough at riding that particular bike before you switched it, right? So then there's like a whole new way to look at what you have is get something that fits what you're doing and stick with it for a good long time, unless it's something that you really know isn't working for you. Don't let it get into your head that it's your equipment. A lot of it is probably user error, right? So an advantage that I've gained through practicing all the time is I know my equipment really, really well. The other thing is the feel. So when I'm out playing, I can feel what's happening a lot at impact. You hear that a lot about how Tiger always talks about how he does a lot to the feeling through his hands, which is another reason why a lot of really good golfers use blades, right? Because they want to get the feeling of the golf ball for them to be able to shot shape. I'm in no way close to being able to shot shape. I can do it a little bit, but that's not a priority for me. A priority for me is just knowing how I hit the ball and managing the course on how I hit the ball. And I can tell based on how I feel, how my swing feels that day, how my impact feels that day, how I can approach a golf course and play it based on that day's feels. That's something that I believe you're only going to get if you're playing and practicing the game enough to know what days are going to do what. There's definitely that bit where I'll get on a range and I'll know right away. Driver's not working, my irons are hot, my wedges are okay, and my putter's really good. So maybe when I would go out to play 18 on a course on the sim, I won't use the driver that day. Or I'll try it once or twice to see if maybe I've figured out what I was doing, but I'll rely heavily on my irons and vice versa. There's days where my driver's really hot, irons aren't working at all, or maybe they're working okay, and my wedges are complete garbage. For whatever reason, I can feel that, therefore I can adapt my game. So that could just be a beginner thing, and maybe that changes as I become a more experienced golfer, but as far as I am concerned right now, that's kind of how I play each round when I get to it. The other one that's obviously very obvious is game improvement. I look at my swing when I first started this challenge. The advantage I have of documenting everything is I've got video of my swing and how it has evolved. I have improved my game as a golfer from my perspective a lot in so many ways. I look at my old swings and I cringe. I'm just like, oh, I see my current swing and I see things that I can fix. But that's clear, right? You practice, you're going to get better. And that's something that I really, really want to kind of emphasize here is whether you're looking to enjoy the game of golf a little bit better or you do want to chase a score, you're only going to get there through practice. And what a better way to do that, right, than a simulator or some sort of indoor capability for you to play when you have time to go out and hit some balls. Not talking about coming out, smacking balls for 2 hours, because that doesn't help anybody. But the improvement you're going to get over your skill is well beyond trying to go play around and just getting better on the golf course, right? What if you have a bad day? If you're not hitting the ball well, you can just go in the house. Your day's done. Go do something else. If you paid X amount of money for a round, you're going to finish that round. You're going to finish 18 holes and you're going to go home so frustrated, probably not going to want to pick up your golf clubs for a couple weeks. Another one regarding your skill is being able to take advantage of your lessons, right? Lessons are expensive. I can attest to that. Whether you're on Skillist or you're going to see a PGA professional or your local pro, it's a lot of money. So how do you take advantage of that? How do you take advantage of the time given to you by that PGA professional or coach on Skillist, right? If you're taking their time, you should repay that with showing up to your next lesson improved, showing that you had put the work in to take their expertise and put it to use so that you can continue to evolve your golf game instead of having to do that same lesson all over again. So if you have the ability to come home from that lesson and put some time in, or after that lesson, you go straight to the range at the course or the practice green and put it to work, you're doing yourself a favor, you're doing your coach a favor, and you're doing your game a favor and your enjoyment. So now the bad and the ugly. It can be hard. It can be stressful. Golf is a very mentally tough game. You have to truly want to improve. You have to enjoy the ups and the downs because, gosh, those downs come and they come hard. So if you're a player like me chasing a score, you have to understand that you're going to have those lows and you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And you got to believe in yourself and believe in your team. If you're just learning golf to have a great time and go outside, you're still going to have those stressful moments because you're going to wonder why this is going wrong and why this has changed. When you start to fix your swing, other things go wrong, right? It's an impossible game. It's not perfect. Some things will affect other things and it makes this not work, but this is working better. And it can play a lot of mind games with you. So if this is something you do like I do almost every single day, you put a lot of thought into it, you put a lot of time into it, and that really will take a toll on you stress-wise and then physically. Doing something over and over and over for days on end, repetitive motion, any PT, physical therapist out there will tell you it's the worst thing you can do for your body. And in golf, you're taking the worst and adding the worst because you're twisting, pulling, and swinging around your spine. That is the worst on top of the worst. You do that repetitively, things go wrong. So if you're not somebody who is active, you're not actively in PT, you're not actively doing yoga, stretching, and even some weight training, you're gonna hurt yourself. And that was something I didn't think would happen because I am very active, but I've never really spent time stretching or doing yoga. Golf has proven to me, especially being 38 years old, that I have to stretch. I have to be mobile to play a game like this as much as I'm playing. Especially being an athlete, I've got some swing speed and power, even out of this skinny frame, that I probably shouldn't be putting into the ball. I never try to swing hard, but I still do, and that put a lot of stress on me, therefore injuries come in droves. More than injuries, my hands, right? You've seen pictures of pros' hands that are all blistered and bleeding. That absolutely happens. I've got a roll of tape over here because there are bits on my hands that I have to tape. Otherwise, my skin cracks open. I'll definitely get a blister that makes it harder to play the next day. So there's all the physical, and then there's the mental aspects that are going to come with playing every single day. So what have I learned from playing every day? I think that there is a balance. I don't think you should play on a golf simulator every single day like I do. I think it's very easy to create bad habits, so you got to be very careful. But it's really nice to be able to fit it into your schedule. I think the balance really would be mixing your indoor time with your outdoor time. I think if you're on the simulator more days than you are outside, or at least on the practice facility more days than you are actually playing rounds, until you get good enough to where you want to be, I think that's the perfect balance. And I think there's room there for somebody just like me to be able to take the simulator, combine it with green grass golf, and probably break 80, I would say in 9 months if it was done without injury. You could be smart. We're capable. The game is accessible. It's not scary. It's not intimidating. I think maybe having to learn the rules is something that you don't get out of practice, that at least me indoors, and I'm gonna have to learn as I go outside. There's a lot that I have to learn. But I know that all of us, if there's a little bit inside that says, I want to learn the game of golf, you can do it. I know you can do it. Practice it. Really enjoy it. Have a good time with it. Control everything you can control, and you're going to be able to go and enjoy every single swing and hopefully not have any bad days when you're on the course. Keep all the bad days when you're here on the sim so you can just go in the house, have some dinner, call it a night. Please like, follow, and subscribe. I'm going to continue sharing my experiences, what I've learned through all this. I cannot wait to get outside and show you that I think I can break 80. If I don't break 80, I'm going to be really close. Then I will put my own philosophy to test. What is that balance of green grass to indoor golf to reach those goals that we're looking out for? I'm going to just do as much of this as I can. I love sharing what I've learned. I hope you enjoy it as well. We'll see you next time.